Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the C-Man, and I want to welcome you to another edition of the C-Man's Cinema Sit Down and back in for a little more Spooktober catch-up. That's right, man. It is Halloween Eve, and we are getting caught up on every movie that was left, which is just 3. We had 2 to catch up on, and then today's movie. We're already caught up on 1. We're getting ready to catch up on the 2nd, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, well, boom, take a look at your screen. All October long, the C-Man has been watching and reviewing a different spooky, scary Halloween movie just for you guys, and also a little bit for myself, because I love watching all of these, and giving myself 31 days of scary and Halloween movies has just been wonderful. And as you can see, we've had a pretty good mixture of things, but we're in the middle of a 90s run, man. This is my prime time, man. The 90s that's my era. Just best time to be a kid, man, was in the 90s. And toward the end of the 90s, we saw Disney Channel, which was huge when I was a kid, cranking out original movies. And this one of my all-time favorites. Sorry, Johnny Tsunami and Smart House. I just love this one because it's Halloween related. So why don't you pull up a chair, man, take a seat. We are getting ready to dive in to Halloweentown. That's right, man. Disney Channel original. And like I said, the Disney originals were huge growing up for me and all my friends. Like, if you came into school the day after a Disney Channel original dropped and you hadn't watched it, you like before social media where you had to like hide so that you didn't get spoilers on things. Welcome to high school and elementary school when I was younger, man. If you didn't catch a Disney Channel original and you went into school the next day, there was a pretty good chance you were going to get some stuff spoiled for you, because that's all anybody could talk about. And Halloweentown is one of my favorite Disney Channel originals that turned into like a full franchise. You had Halloweentown 2, you had Halloweentown High, and you had this nice little run, but obviously, the original is what I always go back to, and Paul Birnbaum, who wrote here, comes up with a fun script, very similar in some elements to The Nightmare Before Christmas, in the sense that, like in The Nightmare Before Christmas, there's Halloweentown, you know, and they sing, "This is Halloween, 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 Halloween." There's no "This is Halloween" here, but we do have a Halloweentown, and in very similar nature. This is a town that is separate from our world. It's on a different world. You got to take a magic school bus to get there. But inside of this Halloween town are all of the Halloween characters and creatures and, you know, just living Halloween every day. Very similar. And seeing a live action version of it is a ton of fun, specifically when we get to Halloween town, man. The costumes and the different, things that people are wearing or are. It's just such a wonderful mixture of Halloween elements. I mean, you got like humans with pumpkin heads, and, you know, you got werewolves, and you got trolls, and like, if you can think of it, it exists in Halloweentown. And what's great about this is you have a family in this movie that is, of course, the Pipers, but they are actually Cromwells. Gwen Piper is the daughter to Aggie Cromwell. Aggie Cromwell comes from a line of Cromwells, and they're some of the most powerful, renowned witches in all of Halloweentown. And Gwen had some sort of, just didn't get along with Halloweentown. She met a mortal, a regular human, married him, and decided to live just in the regular world and raise her kids like they were normal. And Grandma can only come once a year. So what's cool is you have a daughter in Marnie Piper who loves Halloween and spooky and weird things, and Mom is just always trying to shut the door on those things. Like, sorry, you can't go out with your friends on Halloween. I just can't let you do it. And naturally, we open with that, and then Marnie's grandma, Aggie, comes in to visit, and then the kids kind of put things together that there's some weird stuff going on. Just the way the mom is acting, and clearly they're hiding something. And Marnie sneaks downstairs when Grandma and Mom are talking and finds all about Halloweentown and decides to follow the grandma. Sneaks on the bus. Her little brother Dylan also sneaks on the bus, and then somehow, like, they sneak onto the back. They go through the back door. And somehow their youngest sister, Sophie, also sneaks onto the bus without them knowing until they get to Halloweentown. But then once they get to Halloween time, they're kind of exploring and they're hanging out with Grandma. But one of the things that kind of drives Marnie to want to do this is Grandma came back to ask for her mom's help. She wanted Aggie's daughter, Gwen, Marnie's mom, to help. She needed another Cromwell witch to try to stop something bad from happening. So when, Gwen is just, no thanks, Marnie is like, I'm going to go check it out. And when they get there, time is different. They're like, well, we only have 2 hours till midnight. That could be days, weeks. It's all relative when you're in Halloweentown. So they're hoping that the mom won't notice, and they're going to help out Grandma. And there's some sort of conspiracy going on in Halloweentown. People's forms are turning into ugly things, and then they're just completely disappearing. And naturally, Gwen does figure it out, and she goes to Halloweentown. They all meet up, and it kind of builds to like, we're going to take the kids home. Oh man, no, this is a bad thing is going on. Like, look out. And then Grandma and Mom kind of get trapped, and the kids got to save the day. That's the movie. That's the whole movie. But it works so wonderfully, man. Like, I love the idea of there being this other world that this family comes from, and if you don't exercise your magic powers by 13, they could disappear, which is what Gwen's goal is. Like, if I can just get them through their 13th birthday, they'll never be able to be witches or have powers, and we won't have to worry about Halloweentown. And naturally, that doesn't happen. And I love the way that the movie kind of brings everything around together and centers around Marnie and her brother and sister to save the day. And in doing so and showing what they can do to save the mom and the grandma, Mom kind of comes around to the idea, you're like, you know what? I knew the bad things that happened from Halloweentown. This looks pretty good. I'll teach you, and so on and so forth. Sorry, I just spoiled the whole movie. But I love that, like a lot of Disney Channel movies back in the day, this is very family-oriented, and obviously, when there's family struggles, you got to work through them and hopefully come out the other end, and that's pretty much what happens, to the Cromwells. And it's a lot of fun, man, using the magic and how they do potions and spells and, the different things that go into, the witchcraft that's in the movie is great. I mean, they have a store for brooms, which is a lot of fun. You get to ride on one of them with Grandma, and you're like, oh, dude, I want to ride on a broom. You know what I mean? All around, man, I mean, everything from the look and feel to the town to the story itself just really, really works, specifically around Halloween time. And then, of course, you gotta have, if you're gonna do a Halloween movie, you gotta have a creepy big bad. And the town's mayor, Calabar, ends up, spoilers, being that antagonist. He is this evil creature who's trying to make darkness take over all of Halloweentown, so Halloweentown can be what it really is meant to be, and that's a source of evil power. And they want to take the mortal realm back because humans took it over. So, pretty generic bad guy plot, but the stuff around Calabar is awesome. And so much of the things that work in the movie are acting oriented. Calabar in particular, Robin Thomas is the lead here, and he has this kind of fun, like, oh, look at me, I'm the mayor, and I'm a good guy, like, let me hang out with the kids, hey, it's nice to see you. Yeah, there's always a little something behind the way he talks where you're just like, I don't trust him. And when the actual villain, who's like a disfigured kind of warlock, appears and shows his true form and shows that it is Calabar, you're like, well, I had a feeling that was coming. But Robin Thomas does a really good job with that. And he can be, very approachable and friendly when he's being the mayor. But man, can he be sinister and terrible as the bad guy. But for me, I think the biggest standout in the movie is Kimberly J. Brown, who plays Marnie. I just love her. She's this 13-year-old kid, but she's got a ton of swagger, man, and attitude, and like the way that she responds to things, or the way that she thinks about things, and how she handles a lot of this stuff, specifically the headbutting with her mom. You can understand where she's coming from, and she just does it in a way that's like just so personable. Her personality is huge, and you definitely feel that in the movie, and it draws you into Marnie right away. And then, Debbie Reynolds, icon, playing Aggie Cromwell. She's just wonderful and perfect. Everything you could want from, your grandma witch, you certainly get with Debbie Reynolds, and she just crushes Judith Hogue, I think, does a great job as Gwen. She really plays that, like, you understand where she's coming from, and she plays the parent role really, really well. But once she's able to kind of finally understand why Marnie is so attracted to these things and how witchcraft and the stuff in Halloweentown can be good, that shift kind of takes over and is played really well. And a lot of that shift is more from that motherly paternal side, where it's like, shoot, I was wrong. And seeing what Marnie can do with these things, she could do great things. And the way she just kind of repositions and everything is really, really wonderful. And then the other two standouts for me are Zoe Zimmerman, who plays Dylan Piper. He's the middle child, and he's like the super nerd, straight A student, only doing what's supposed to be right, breaking rules and things not his realm. So he kind of gets pulled along into this. And when he shows up to follow Marnie's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, I'm the man of the house. I gotta keep my eye on you. But as they go along their journey, you see Dylan starting to get more interested in this stuff. And when we find out that Dylan isn't immortal and does have powers, spoiler, still takes him a minute to come around. But when he realizes when everything's on the line, they need him, steps up. And again, another one of those nice kind of story elements around the family where you kind of are able to bring them together and get resolutions. Stuff that the Disney Channel movies just did so well. And then Sophie Piper, little Emily Rosk. She only did 6 acting credits, and I think 3 or 4 of them are tied to the Halloweentown series. But she is freaking just adorable, man. Like, it's one of those things, you get these kinds of movies, and you just get that one kid who's super, super cute. And Emily Rosk is that person. And every time she's on screen, whether she's smiling or she's scared, you're just like, isn't she adorable? And she plays into the movie in big ways. And the moments that she has, the smile she has after she does something right is just wonderful. And then for me, when it comes to the creatures and things in town, I'm a huge fan of the taxi driver, who is just a skeleton. And the way his face animates, and the fact that, like, the bones can move and he can do stuff with his eyebrows and his face, and he gets kind of taken over by a little bit of evil, so he swings from, like, this guy who tells absolutely horrible jokes to, like, a scary version of a skeleton, and then back to the corny guy. And his jokes are really, really terrible. They make me laugh quite a bit. But like I said, man, I love the vibe. I love the set designs and the production of Halloweentown itself. The different characters that we get to see. The Frankenstein that's in the movie, he's pretty funny. All of it just works. Like, if you're gonna do Halloween stuff, Halloweentown is a perfect movie to watch specifically around Halloween, and specifically with your family. It was one of the things that Disney Channel movies did so well, was give the family a reason to gather around the TV and experience something together. And I certainly loved watching them then. I still love watching it now, man, even though it is for sure a made-for-TV movie. One of my faves. So there you go, man. Those are all my thoughts on Halloweentown. Now I want to know what you're thinking. Did you not see Halloweentown, and now you don't feel like you need to watch it because I spoiled the whole movie? Anything you're thinking, though, man. If you haven't seen Halloweentown, this is something you want to dive into. It is on Disney Plus, so you can go check it out, see where I'm coming from, and you can go on the whole run. I think all the Halloweentowns are up there. But if you haven't seen it, intrigued, something you would check out. And if you have, did you grow up with Halloweentown? Is this one of your favorite Disney Channel originals? Anything you're thinking, good, bad, indifferent? Do you think the movie still holds up today? Anything you got down below in the comment section. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new, you want to come hang out for the last 2 reviews we got for Spooktober, you want to come catch up on everything that we've done this month, you can jump over there, join the C-Maniacs by hitting that subscribe button. Hit that little bell afterwards if you want those alerts. And until next time, just 2 movies remain. 1 more for today, and then Halloween tomorrow. Until all that time comes, for the C-Man Cinema Sit-Down, I've been the C-Man. I'm signing off. Peace. You guys are still here? You must be looking for some more content. Well, don't worry. C-Man's got you covered, man. You got videos like this guy and this guy. And if you haven't yet, and you want to come check out all the C-Man goodies, join the Cinema Sit-Down squad, man. Hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the little bell down below that, too, so you can get alerts every time I make new videos.